Hi there, welcome to Elm Colors. I'm Erica. Today's video is our last in the Witchtober series. I've had so much fun doing these pages and having these pre-designed palettes to work from has just been so helpful for my pages. And I really hope you guys have enjoyed this. So today's the last day. We are working on an autumn witch today, and this is the page that I picked. So this is Witch Magic from Yana Prosperina. This is the page I picked today. I just thought it was really cute. Yeah, and I think it's going to be a fun one to do. I'm going to do a little bit of work with some chalk pastels in the background, some alcohol markers, and then Prismacolor pencils on top of that. So I think I'm going to start with my chalk pastels, and I'm going to use them kind of how I'm going to use my alcohol markers as well. I'm going to use them as kind of like a base. So hopefully this works out well. I have markers for most of it, but the background I want it to be soft. So I really wanted to kind of try to do a few different colors mixed in on the background there. So we're going to start with this light, like, I don't know, cream color almost. And this is just going to go all on the background. We'll do a little bit down here, but most of that is going to be tree, I think, because there's still leaves and stuff hanging down there. So this is just like the base color. Now we're going to take the next color next to that, which is like another kind of, it's just a little bit darker. And I'm just going to start building up layers and kind of making things, I don't want any straight lines. I want things to be very flowy and movie. I know that's not the right word at all, but that's the one that came out. So, okay, so this is going to be our background. I'm trying to decide if I want some of this. I think I do. I have a little bit up into the tree here. There we go. Okay. Then I'm going to use the same pad here. I'm going to use this kind of orangey yellow color. And I'm going to put that all in the tree. Anywhere where the leaves would be. I'm going to add a little bit more orange to this. So the next darkest color. It's one of the things I like the best about the Mungu pastels is they have a nice variety of colors in these tiny little rectangles of chalk. And you can really just kind of layer colors until you get the look you're going for. I feel like this needs to have more. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Okay, I think that's good for now. Let me clean some of this up with my eraser really quick. Okay, so got the chalk pastels done. I don't think I showed the box earlier in this video, so I just wanted to show you the box again. These are on Amazon. I've got it linked down in the description if you are interested in this product. Okay, so next we're gonna go, where did I put my, there. I've got my markers swatched out here, the ones that I want to try to use. And I think this is the one, yeah, this is the one that I'm going to use for the tree. But I need to get something so that when I get close to the leaves here, that it doesn't just kind of go straight into that yellow. I need an in-between color. So I'm going to see if I can find something for that really quick. All right, we're going to try these two and see how we do. I'm going to start at the base because I know that this is going to look kind of wonky. I do need also to do the the moss that's growing here. I think I'm going to use for this as well, I'm going to use another chalk pastel. Because this is a good color specifically for this. Yeah, that's really the only place I want it. Okay, sorry, got to clean that up now. Okay, I'll be able to come back in and add in shading and stuff over top of that. So right now I'm just going to go through and add in the color to the tree, and I will show you guys kind of how I'm going to approach the fading into the leaves when we get up there. But for the most of this, I'm just going to go ahead and color, and then I will come back and chat with you when it gets closer to the top part of the tree. All right, so I didn't actually need the other marker to blend, because when I come back through with my pencils, it's going to blend. I can just blend it right into the marker, or into the marker work. So because the way the Prismacolors go on top of these markers is like a dream. So that I did not even have to worry about that, and I worried about it for nothing. So I am going to grab a skin color here. We're going to go really, really pale. It's always a good idea to start out pale on the skin tone and the hair so that you can build the layers up. That's typically what I tend to do. So I'm just going to go ahead and get the rest of my marker work done here, and then we will come back and work on some shading together. Okay, here's where we are without any colored pencil so far. I like the way this is going. This is going to take a little more pencil work than I had been anticipating. I'm going to do some shading and stuff up in the leaves, and then a lot of like drawing in some of these. I'm going to continue like these vines that she started, but I'm going to draw in some more of my own. And then, you know, shading on the rest of it. I left her shirt white. I think I'm probably going to add like cream and stuff to it to kind of warm it up, but I want to wait until I get her skin tone done so I know what color to do it, if I want to do it more white or more cream or more yellow or whatever. We're gonna have to wait and see how that goes. So I'm going to start with the background, I think. No, I lied. I'm going to start with her. So we're going to do I'm going to do some shading on her skin and her clothes, and then we'll start working on some stuff in the background, and I will be speeding all of that up and popping in here and there to chat with you guys about things. But other than that, yeah, this is where we're going to go. Okay, so I'm going to grab my pencils and I'm going to get started. So I'll talk to you again here in a few. Okay, so here she is all done. I think she looks really pretty. I really like the clothing. I know this does really read as red, but it's supposed to be like a nice dark, like brown. So I did use browns to do the shading, and then I used the yellow, or what's this? Jasmine maybe, or I can't remember. Yeah, jasmine, to do the highlights. And I really like the way that looks, that ended up looking. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and go off screen and shade in the tree. And we'll come back, and probably the steps, and we'll come back and do some work on some of the pumpkins. And I colored these as, I think I'm going to do these as squirrels. I know I just solid colored them in, but I'm going to use some shading to hopefully bring that back. And then we'll also do a little bit of work with the leaves and some of these fun background elements. So that's my plan. So I'm going to go ahead and get the tree done and the steps, and then we'll come back and play with some other things. So I'll talk to you again here in a second. Alrighty, so I got the tree done and I've started on the leaves. I kind of wanted to pop back in to kind of show you what my thinking is for the leaves. I'm going to be using a little bit more kind of in detail pencil work and a little bit of paint pen mixed in here too. So I'm going to work on this little section up here. And I've got several different yellows here, a couple of oranges, and a couple of browns that I'm going to be using. Let me grab all of those really quick, make sure I have everything that I need. Okay, so you can see I've got a nice collection of pencils here. I'm going to be using this, yeah, we'll start with this one. So I'm going to be using a few different yellows, and I'm going to go through and I'm going to make little kind of leaf shapes throughout the background. And I'm not pressing hard when I do this. I'm trying to kind of follow the direction of the leaves that are already drawn. But I'm just going to do a few here and there, kind of randomly spaced. I have already gone through with this tiny little, what is this one? Burnt ochre, I think is the color. And I've done a little bit of shading underneath some of the leaves here. But I kind of wanted to show you more of this process so you can kind of see how I got to this point. And this is not necessary really to do. It's just something that I just to kind of get a little bit more of a quote unquote realistic effect, I guess. Oh, and I have this orange too. Okay, so this is, now I'm going to use the burnt ochre, and this one I'm going to do really lightly because I don't want this to be super dark. So again, just kind of drawing these little ovals basically. They're semi-leaf shapes. I'm just kind of drawing them all throughout the, there we go. Okay. Okay. All right, so now, since I have the burnt ochre already underneath the leaf, so now I'm going to use this, what is this one? Goldenrod, I think. Yeah, goldenrod. And I'm just going to shade out from there, just kind of blending outward. I'm going to go right over top of those little tiny leaves that I've already drawn in. But again, using light pressure. And just kind of blending out. The biggest thing to remember when you're doing like leaves like this, you just basically want a variation, a good variation in colors. You don't want it to just be solid straight across. Okay, so this area here is going to be a little tricky because there's not necessarily one area that's supposed to be darker really. So like in between these two lines here, that would be typically a darker area because there's a little bit more shadow. But since the leaves aren't, like every individual leaf isn't drawn, you kind of get to make up where the shadows and highlights and stuff are. Okay, so there's that. We're just going to go with that for now. Then I've got this color. Okay, this one is jasmine, so I'm going to just use that again, shading out even farther from where I just did. Just blending things as I go. Okay, and then I'm going to use my cream. All my pencils are so tiny now. And this is really where I'm going to use a little bit more pressure to kind of blend some of like the darker leaves, the leaf shapes in, because I want them to disappear a little bit. Okay. All right, now I'm going to come in with this Spanish orange, and I'm just going to add this in a few spots randomly. And there really is no like direct rule to follow here. This is all just kind of like how you feel something should look. So this is more about trying to put colors in places where you think there might be some of this color. I also have this pumpkin orange, and I'm going to use this very lightly because this is a really dark color, but once I use it, then I can come back in with the jasmine and blend it around a little bit more. And since I've used that cream on top of this, it kind of will be easy to blend things around a little bit. Okay, and then I'm going to use, jasmine, and we'll come back through and start blending things out a little bit more. Okay, and then I can come in with this dark brown and add in some of the shadows back into a couple spots if I want to make things a little darker. The other thing that was kind of tricky was figuring out where to end the branches. Like, I want it to look like the leaves kind of have overlapped some of the trees, so that's why you can't see the whole branch, because it just kind of ended. Like there was no really line where it said, hey, you should stop coloring here. Okay, so I'm going to come back in again with the burnt ochre and draw in a few more of these leaf shapes. And like I said, these are just kind of randomly placed in here. There's not really any kind of plan or anything. It just kind of, this is where they're going to show up. And then I'll use my cream to kind of go back over those and blend those out a little bit. Okay. Okay, so now I've got some, couple of paint pens. Okay, so I'm using Artistro, a couple of Artistro paint pens. I have, I think it's like a nature set, and these are some really nice colors in here. So I'm going to use this orange, and I'm just going to kind of make a few dots like randomly, and then I'm going to use my finger to pounce out that color a little bit. So that gives me a nice orange area here. So again, that just is creating variation in the coloring of the tree. And then I'm going to use this lighter orangish yellow one, and this is where I'm going to add like a few things, just using some dots to kind of create like a look that this is overlapping the branches here. And then I'll do a few little dots of this orangish yellow color throughout the orange color I put in there. Okay, and I'm going to use my white to highlight a few of the leaves, not all of them, just a few. Yeah, and anywhere where I don't want it, I can go back in and get rid of that. But yeah, so then I'm just going to keep adding in color. I think I'm getting close to where I want this to be. I'm going to just kind of draw your eye back to some of these leaves that are drawn in. Maybe add a little bit more shading or a little bit more jasmine up to the top here. All right, so that's basically it. And that's how I'm going to do the rest of this over here. So then I will kind of go off screen and do that. I'm also going to color these leaves here with that same color. And then when we come back, I'll work on a couple of pumpkins and we'll work on some of this background stuff over here. So I will talk to you again here in a second. Alrighty, so I got the rest of the leaves done up top. I did a few of the pumpkins. I left a couple for us to do together, and then I started shading the stones and stuff. But I'm going to go ahead and do these ones on camera with you guys so that You can kind of see how I did that. I'm just using a couple of French grays from my Prismacolors. And with the little swirls here, I'm going to go ahead and do those. We're going to do those with the goldenrod. So I'm just going to go ahead and trace these on here. I'm going to make it look like it's just like leaves or something, or vines, because it's going to kind of coincide with everything else that I'm going to do kind of in this background area right here. Yeah, so I just used the 70% warm gray to kind of do some shading. We'll go ahead and add some in there. And then just blended that out with the 20, do I have the 20? Yeah, the 20% French gray. And then on a couple of the rocks, I had added in a little bit of yellow onto the rocks, just to kind of give it a little bit of a autumn feel, I guess. Yeah. So these rocks aren't super detailed on here, so I'm just kind of adding in my own little bits and bobs. Okay, so I'm going to use the jasmine and just add a little bit of yellow touches in like the highlighted areas, and that just kind of, I don't know, it brings kind of all of this together a little bit more. Oh, I forgot these rocks down here. Let me do these real quick. Okay, so with this one, I'm gonna have grasses and stuff going in front of the base of this. Maybe I should just draw those in and then add in the shading for this rock so that I don't have crazy amount of stuff going everywhere. Okay, so for this, I'm gonna use a mix of, I've got my lime peel, I have yellow ochre, I have the jasmine. I'll probably come in with a little bit of this burnt ochre. Yeah, and we'll go with these colors for now. And so basically all I'm gonna do is just kind of trace what she's already drawn in, and then I'm gonna add in a few touches of my own. Just a few vines and stuff of my own. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I'm gonna speed this part up because it'll take me a little bit to figure out where I want everything. But I'll leave this in so that you guys can see what I do and how I do it, but it'll just be sped up a little bit. So I will talk to you again here in a second. All right, next we have a few pumpkins here left to shade in, so I'm gonna work on those a little bit. All right, so the last little bit I have left is just to do a little bit of detail shading on these little squirrely dudes. And I'm just gonna very simply add in a few colors. So I used a little bit of a darker gray than the solid color that I used on there. And then I'm just gonna add in some pretty simple shading. These guys are not gonna get a ton of detail because they're so tiny anyway. Okay, I think that means we're done. I'm pretty sure I got everything colored in. I always tend to miss something when there's a page with a lot. So I just want to verify really quick. Okay, so last little bit that I would like to try to do. I want to add in just a fun little, I don't know, some dots and stuff around these leaves that are flowing through the air. So I'm just going to do a couple dots around, kind of in just around the leaves, just to kind of make it look fun and magical. So here is the final page. I just want to add a little bit of sparkle because I can't help it. So I'm just going to dot some of this yellow around in the trees because I have a problem and I need some sparkles on the page. So just gonna dot that around really quick. Okay, there we go. That's it. I really like this. I love coloring Yana's pages. Even when there are bits and pieces where like on the leaves where I got a little frustrated because they're, you know, the leaves aren't drawn in all the way, but that kind of gives you the opportunity to make it look, I don't know, different and cool and do your own thing. And that's really fun for me sometimes. Really like the way that this turned out here. I'm going to hold things up closer so you guys can kind of see. So there's some of the sparkly bits. Hopefully you can see a little bit of that shining. There's our lady, our lovely witch, some of the pumpkins, and the background vines and grasses and stuff. Yeah, really love this. I'm very pleased with how this one turned out. This is the last video in this series. I really enjoyed making these, really enjoyed coloring these pages, and even with the little scheduling conflict that popped up, I still just loved it. It was fun. So thank you guys so much for going on this journey with me. For those of you who liked and commented and watched, I really, truly appreciate it. And yeah, it's really fun to do these kinds of series. So that's it for me today. So until next time, I'll see you later. Bye.